Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ehsan Haqqani, and like always, we'll be talking about the Asia Cup that's going on. A thrilling match that happened late last night where Pakistan simply thrashed the minnows, Nepal. Nepal was coming in for the very first time, and this is how the number one team thrashed them. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Coming up is the top story, which is Pakistan has beaten Nepal by 235 runs. We all saw that, and we've got more to talk about that later on. Then the Asia Cup game that's going on today, that's Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. It's going to be very amazing. It's in Palakkale, where rain might stop the play as well, and Sri Lanka looking strong as per the game is going on till date. Now, the other top story that we have is South African women are touring Pakistan, and they'll be and Iftikhar. Yes, Babar Azam scored 151 plus runs and Iftikhar at 109. That was amazing. Let's have a look by Insa's report. That's our team member in Sports Extra. She's covering the Pakistan versus Nepal game.
History. He beat Hashim Amla of South Africa to become the batter to reach 19 ODI hundreds the quickest, doing it in only 102 innings.
Ball goes up, he gets his fourth, and that's the end of the Nepal innings.
Away the minnows, Nepal, and as you can see, Pakistan's legend cricketer Babar Azam scoring 150 plus runs. Then again, Iftikhar Ahmed scoring 109 runs. Not out for Pakistan. A little tough for the minnows, but then again, keeping in view that they're in the Group A along with Pakistan and India, they'd be kicking themselves. Let's start the show now, ladies and gentlemen. I have two amazing cricket analysts with me. First off, we've got a cricket commentator with us who has been very active whenever the cricket is on. He's been commentating even in Afghanistan and now in Pakistan as well. We've got Mr. K. Asif with us. Welcome to the show.
Hello dear, how are you? And you're quite happy because Iftikhar performed so well.
Absolutely, because ladies and gentlemen, last night it was me against K. Asif. K. Asif saying Iftikhar wouldn't perform, but Iftikhar made a century. It's always amazing to have you, K. Asif, on the show. Next up, we've got Abbas with us. Abbas is a brilliant cricket analyst with us. He's also a host for PTV News, and then again, he's also a cricketer himself and a coach. Welcome, Abbas.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hope you're doing well, Abbas.
I'm good. I was just listening of you guys both, I mean, especially Rizwan's Bhai's glitch, what happened yesterday, that Asif and Rizwan Bhai was saying, will it be Babar Azam or Iftikhar, but good luck, you won, man.
Well, it's going to be all the BP rushing up in K. Asif again. Since you're here, I think K. Asif's all about the cricketing sense, and then it's going to be you versus K. Asif. Let's see who wins. We'll have the predictions later on in the show. We'll be talking about Pakistan versus India, ladies and gentlemen. That's the game that's going to be happening on the 2nd of September as Pakistan is facing the arch rivals India, but the game has switched a little. It's a turn of the tables as Pakistan is on the number one spot in the ICC rankings after beating Afghanistan. So let's start off with the critical analysis of the Pakistani cricket team and then the Indian cricket team as compared to Pakistan and India. Since Pakistan is hosting the series, Pakistan would be playing some matches against India and some other teams in Sri Lanka, in Palakkale. It might be affected by rain. Let's start off with K. Asif. K. Asif, your take on this.
Well, I thought that you'll ask me about last night's game, but you're not talking about that because you know that Pakistan have thrilled that, and it was
overwhelmingly won against Nepal, the minnows. Let's talk about them later on in the show.
Fine, fair enough. I was just making a story. You know that sports all about stories are, and sports all about smiles. To be very honest, that I'm quite sure that the way Pakistan team is playing, especially the skip leading from the front, Babar Azam. Now Pakistan is favourite against India because India have some problems. You know, KL Rahul is not there against Pakistan, and then we can see that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they are not performing up to the mark, and their form is a serious concern for the India. On the other side, the Pakistani batters, bowlers, spinners, all of them, they're in really, really good form. Shaheen Shah Afridi always thrilling, and you know that Rohit Sharma, he always struggles against Shaheen Shah Afridi as and Virat Kohli. So Pakistan got a very good spinning attack as well. Good thing is, in last night's game, Shadab Khan, he was in a very, very good momentum. His Googly, that was on the that was right on the money. He has taken 4 wickets. Then Haris Rauf, then Naseem Shah. So Pakistan team is gelled up and they're performing so well. I think Pakistan would definitely favorite against India.
Well, it's a round robin stage. Each and every team has to play against each other. When we talk about Pakistan specifically, yesterday's show was totally about Pakistani team, and criticism on Babar Azam was there from Rizwan and then Shaheen Shah Afridi. He talked about Pakistan's team, if not having Rizwan or Babar Azam or Shaheen Shah Afridi, those are the backbones of Pakistan cricket team. What would happen if they are not there?
Well, see, simply just talk about Babar Azam. He scored 151, and Babar, and then once again Rizwan. He was in a very good, he was in a good touch. Then Iftikhar, you know that why I always talk about players like Iftikhar, players like Khushdil Shah and Fakhr Zaman. Technically, they're not strong. And when you're not strong technically, you cannot perform.
He just scored 109 runs against the Nepalese team, and he's not technically strong. I mean, he is the Ifti mania. You can call him Chachu if you want. You've been talking about that. I'm going to come to you as well. Go ahead.
All right. See, once again, if a player who scored 100, it does not mean that he is technically strong. Yes, he is mentally strong. He performed up to the mark, and that was his day. That's why he has scored century. Iftikhar has a still problem that he used to play in the mid-wicket region, square leg region, which we call the horizontal bat. So you know that the players, when they cannot perform against top-notch bowlers like Mitchell Stark, like Jasprit Bumrah, like the Tikshana of the spinners like in the Sri Lankan side are. So I think that if you want to perform with the consistency, if you want to become a proper and permanent class, then you require that you should be technically strong.
Technically strong, I mean, you talk about Iftikhar Ahmed not performing in the rest of the World Cup. I mean, I've got Ovais over here who begs to differ, right?
Yeah, because I mean, see, one thing I'll tell you, obviously everyone has a different opinion when it comes to the cricketing minds. But one thing, if you just speak about the innings what we played yesterday, especially when Pakistan actually wanted to have a good average in between. I know Asif is right now just trying to tease me up, but the thing is that when you actually wanted to have your innings to be built up in the middle order, when Pakistan were actually in a trouble position, what I loved about Iftikhar was that he knew how to construct the innings with Babar Azam, because many of them people were saying that he's one of the power horses, like he needs to go against every bowler, he needs to strike up. But the thing, what we wanted that time was to maintain your average. The biggest problem what I feel still in the Pakistan team is that when you're batting in the middle order, you need your players to actually tickle up the clock. I mean, it's not that 3 or 4 runs per over. The middle order is the place where you actually construct your innings and you need to rotate the strike, what we have been lacking. One thing I'll agree with Asif is that when you're playing in the middle order, you need to face your prime spin bowling options of Sri Lanka. You need to play prime fast spin bowling option of India or any team what you're playing on. Even if you're playing Afghanistan, your spin bowling option really matters a lot how Pakistan actually tackles them. You need to keep your scorecard to go on. The biggest thing what Pakistan faces the challenge is that your middle order, your last 20 overs, you need to have this kind of players. Like Iftikhar played a brilliant innings, I would say you need to have that kind of players who can actually build your innings and who can actually have that mindset. If it's going 4 or 3 runs per over, in the last 20 overs, he knows how to multiply that with 7 and 8 runs per over. You need that kind of mindset batsman.
Right. Avaz, there was plenty of criticism on the openers, both of them, Imam Ul Haq and then Fakhr Zaman, not clicking on the Multan's pitch.
See, I mean, Imam, if I go through the Imam Ul Haq's performance, he has been exceptionally well. You know, obviously that run out was amazing. You need to appreciate the Nepalese fielder. That amazing run out it was. And Imam Ul Haq has been scoring brilliant runs. You know, he was one of the match of the tournament against Afghanistan. Fakhr Zaman, I would say that everyone says that even I like him. I mean, he's one of the batsmen. When he goes big, you know how strong impact he makes. If you remember about the World Cup against Australia, if you remember before that, he has been a inconsistent player for Pakistan, not consistently performing. But one thing, as you go down the Asia Cup, when you're playing against India, when you're going to play against different countries, you need Fakhr Zaman to have a good opening spell for you, because you have the World Cup coming up. And one thing, even Asif Bhai might agree with me, that if you go by the Pakistan history, your Pakistan loves to have I would say, a Robin stage matches, like long tournaments, because
A round
on a
robin,
lighter
yes.
note,
Everybody
Pakistan
plays
is
everybody.
known to actually wake up later in the tournament. So that would be really helpful for Pakistan, but it was unfortunate. Many people do say that Abdullah Shafi could have been given a chance over here, but you need to realize one thing, that you did not have many series to actually just change on a shuffle on your players. I mean, you just had the Afghanistan series, that got over, you got the Asia Cup, and now you're having the World Cup coming up. So big matches, it's a big match against India. And obviously, even like off air, I was discussing with you, when I was discussing with Asif Bhai, that I obviously don't want to change many players in the Pakistan team, because that disturbs the squad.
Yeah.
And secondly, the middle order, if you want any other batsman to take place of any other batsman, it's a pressure situation for him, because what I say every time, wherever you play around the world, whether you play for Pakistan, whether you play for non-test nation, when you're playing against India, it is basically a match which actually builds your future, even it destroys your future.
It's a game of nerves, and when you talk about consistency, ladies and gentlemen, Babar Azam has been very consistent. He scored a century and a 50, 150 plus runs. Palvasha has made a special report on that. She's a part of our team in Sports Extra. Let's have a look.
23 Asia Cup first century. This is overall his 31st century in international cricket for Pakistan. He is now the second batsman with most hundreds for Pakistan in ODI cricket, 102 innings. He surpassed Hashim Amla's previous record for reaching 19 centuries in 104 innings.
Amazing performance by a legend player of Pakistan, the captain of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, Babar Azam, and he'll bring much more glory as the time goes on. That's what I believe. Asif, you've been watching this all. What does Kulluman have to say?
Well, yesterday you guys were telling me that my blood pressure is getting high just because of Babar Azam's thrilling innings. He performed so well once again, 19th century of his career, and you know that he has broken the record of one of the legends of South Africa, Hashim Amla, and you know that now he's near to get another milestone, that he will be the best player in terms of making centuries, and he will going to break the record of Saeed Anwar as well soon. Why he's performing so well? Because he's so calm, collected, his technical is perfect. Yes, he struggles against wrong one of the, and we have observed in yesterday's game as well that the Sandeep Lamachini, whenever he bowls the flipper or the wrong one, he was struggling. But even then, he was managing so well. Because
I wouldn't say he was struggling. He was just giving respect to a good ball.
All right, I agree with your opinion, and this time we're on the same page. Thank you very much. But on the other side, you know, the players like Fakhar Zaman, you know, he's been struggling for a long time. Awais is with us. He's the you know, one of the best coaches in Pakistan when we talk about that. And then, you know, in KPL, he works with the different players, with the different teams.
Credit given where it's due. You're one of the best commentators.
Thank you very much, dear. Thank you very much for your kind words. So when he works with these kinds of players, I would love to ask this question to him, that what's wrong with Fakhar Zaman, that, you know, that for a long time he's struggling against these kind of deliveries. We have watched against Afghanistan that he was playing away from the body and given catches in the slip or in the wicket or behind the stumps. So what happened last night? That was there wasn't a delivery. Yeah, there wasn't a delivery to play, you know, away from the body, and this is what happened with Fakhar Zaman. So this is my question, that why the Pakistani coaches or the statisticians, why they're not working with Fakhar Zaman, Awais?
Asif, it's a good question, I mean, because the thing is that if you just watch out Fakhar Zaman, you had two problems with him in the initial stages I'm talking about. If you remember, just leave the Champions Trophy, that no ball incident. Before that or after that, I'll say he had one problem, that was when a fast bowler used to ball short pitch delivery, a quick one on his body, it used to get locked, and that obviously used to get the, I would say, the top edge, and it was a catch in the circle area. Slow and steady, he actually demonstrated that with the analyst, and he slow and steady, gradually, I would say, he improved that, the speed of his body and just change of the momentum when it's required for the pull shot. Now you can see the difference over there, and bowlers actually don't ball him over there. Now it's a strong point, one of his strong points on the square leg area for him. The other thing where you actually are pointing, it's for me, when I say it's a worry concern, I mean, because you have got coaches with you got the analysts with you, just not one analyst, you got two analysts with you, then you got the sidearm guy who actually gets you practice all day in the NC, or whether if you're in the Pakistan team, Cliff is with them, if I guess. The thing is that if I compare two batsmen, Babar Azam, and if I compare Fakhar Zaman with me, I remember Babar Azam, how did he actually produce the best cover drives in the world was that there's a stationary ball actually which is basically holded by a coach or anyone. It's just dropped up and the batsman basically plays cover drive, tries to just middle up the bat.
Okay.
And that's what even he does with the stump, I would say, to actually just get your eye set and set with the bat, just to middle the ball. It would be literally he plays around 100 balls what I've seen, Babar Azam. If you go by Fakhar Zaman, even I still get confused when you know that you're actually, if you, unfortunately I can't stand and just let you know how, what mistake he does is that when you're actually standing on the crease, where's your back foot actually? Just look at his back foot. It just is on the center wicket, and which ball actually moves little bit away from the your off stick, which is an outswinger. He tries to just drive it from this side. He does not try to move to the off stump and just try to just cut it towards the third man area or the square cut. You can do that. That's the point where I'm talking about, because it's unfortunate.
You're
I
just
can't
giving
stand up.
away pointers to the Indian team right now who might be looking at the show.
No, see, one thing I'll tell you, whether we are playing, everyone knows one thing, even Asif bhai might agree with me. I know there are flaws with Fakhar Zaman, everything. Everyone loves him because the way when he goes on. I remember the biggest inning what he played. It was not the Champions Trophy for me. It will be the innings what he played, Asif bhai, against Mitchell Starc. Remember in Dubai, that was a crucial innings what Pakistan actually wanted that. If Fakhar Zaman goes, you know what he's capable of doing it. But the thing is that Fakhar Zaman, literally I'll say, he needs to understand one thing, that ball which is outside your off stick, I mean which moves away, how do you need to play it, or you just need to leave it off, because 90 to 80% of his deliveries have been caught behind the wicketkeeper, which moves actually outside. He really needs to figure out on his cut work, or he needs to figure out on his back foot.
Point taken, point taken. When we talk about Fakhar Zaman, he might have some technical difficulties that need to be worked on by the PCB and the technical staff, the analysts, just as Avas mentioned. But some people say that he's a big match player, and he's a big match player against Indian team. Asif, what do you have to say?
Well, there is no idea or no anything like this in cricketing terms that you're a big match player even you're not performing against teams.
You
like
have a grudge against him.
all right, thank you very
You
much.
have a grudge against
Oh
him.
yes,
absolutely.
personal, because I was looking forward to get his place in the Pakistan team, you know. And I want to become an opening batter, isn't it? All right, see, on a serious note, that I don't buy this idea that he's a big match player. If you cannot perform against Afghanistan, if you cannot perform against Nepal, that how could you go and you are thinking that you could perform against Jasprit Bumrah and the players like that and Shami, because they are, you know, very, very good fast
Let me
bowlers.
stop you over here, because when you talk about the big match players, it's also about the pitch that they're playing on. Palakele, Sri Lanka, he was doing well in the LPL. I mean, that's a T20 sort of a format. But then again, he's got a good track record in the Sri Lankan pitches.
Asan, there's a big difference between league cricket and international cricket.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between T20 cricket and ODI cricket. ODI is a proper cricket after 5-day cricket or domestic cricket, that the fluke cannot work all times. And we have watched this in the previous era. You know, Shahid Khan Afridi was a big name in Pakistan.
Worked
and
on his
people-
flukes all the time. Just got lucky. Was he? I mean, if you're lucky enough, that means you get a career in cricket, is it?
See, I'm not talking about. I just want to concentrate one thing, and that is the proper technique. If you are not technically well, dear, you cannot perform for a long time. This is very
That is
simple
true.
point.
That is
This
true.
is very simple point. I don't know why you're not understanding.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But then again, let's have another bat on this. You talked about Iftikhar not performing. He performed late last night. Let's talk about Fakhar not performing. I say he will perform.
All right, I wish him good luck. If he performs for Pakistan, I'll be happy.
So where you guys
But
are, one sec, where you guys are, where you guys are taking us then? Who wins the bet? Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, Avas is in a very good position, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever wins or loses, Avas is up for having food.
Yeah, so tell me where you guys are going to be taking us. Yeah.
I mean, see that, dear, this is very serious point, you know, that Pakistan will be facing India. And I already said that the Pakistan is favorite. And, you know, Ahmed is not here. I always give marks to different teams. I'm giving 60% marks to Pakistan and 40% to India. Just because, why? Because India is struggling. Their captain is not performing. Rohit Sharma is a big name. And if you're calling that the big game players, that is Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, the way they performed, and they have proved themselves. So Pakistan team, apart from Fakhar Zaman and Iftikhar, because, you know, Iftikhar scored century, everyone is praising, everyone is clapping.
Yeah.
Yes, he performed in difficult time. And let me share this on a lighter note that in last night's press conference, the post-match press conference, a question has been asked to Iftikhar. And the question was that when you were playing with Babar Azam, were you thinking that you were playing with your Bhatija? That was the question. So Chacha Bhatija partnership was the question. And he said, yes, you guys always make fun and I enjoy this. So, I mean, it was a very good...
Kunnamal, that's the wrong way to go. You can't criticize our own players. When we talk about Pakistani...
I'm not criticizing and come on. That was the press conference and he has given an answer like that.
Yeah, probably you were the one calling Inzamam Alu.
No. Seriously, no. Pakistani, every player is respectable. Not only in the Pakistan, but we respect every player.
That's
yes,
what
you know, that
I was coming to. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to respect each and every player of Pakistan. They're representing our country. So let's back them up rather than criticizing them and putting names on them. And let's hope that they outperform. When we talk about outperforming, the best player that outperformed yesterday in the bowling attack was Shadab Khan. Now, Shadab Khan is also our vice captain, and Fizza, one of our team members at Sport Extra, has made a report on it. Let's have a see and then come back quickly.
Khan was thanked in Pakistan defeating Nepal by 238 runs.
Amazing display of cricket by the Pakistani cricket team in home ground conditions. It was in Multan, and then again Nepal was the side that Pakistan was playing against. But Pakistan is going to be playing against India very soon, ladies and gentlemen. 24 hours is left and it's going to be played in Palakkale, that's in Sri Lanka. And Pakistan is the first ranked team in the world as of today in the ODI rankings. India are coming strong since they've won more times in the Asia Cup than Pakistan. Pakistan only have won 2 times in the Asia Cup. Does Pakistan still have a chance of winning the Asia Cup and then moving on as winners into the World Cup later this year? Abbas, we'll start with you.
Simon, the match is going to be played in Palakkale, where right now the Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka match is being played. And if I just go by the pitch report, I mean, because Palakkale, even in the Lankan Premier League, it was that it's a dual kind of a pitch which actually supports your bowlers, even it supports your batsmen. Once you enter the floodlights, it starts to support much to the batsman. The ball comes easy on the bat. But when you go by the bowler especially, I would say the bowlers who are actually more dangerous over here, who actually do the change the pace in between, because you need to go with the in-cutters, out-cutters. That bowler is one of the best bowlers in this kind of wicket. But again, I'll tell you one thing. I know it's going to be a pressure match. Whoever is not in the form, you know, everyone has one thing in the mind, that if I'm back in the form, everyone has about Fakhr, anyone, he can be a dangerous player for you. But one thing you need to realize, that you're playing against one of the quality sides in the world, India. Yeah. And your opening batsmen, especially your batsmen, really need to have that green spot. They can actually score good runs for you, because the opening partnership literally will matter you a lot. Because if I compare 2 bowling units over here, Shaheen has been performing consistently well. I know that the in-dipping Yorker, what he delivers, I mean, the Naseem Shah, the in-cutter, has been superb. Down the order, if I say, you got Haris Rauf with the 156 pace delivery and he's got some reverse swing in it. But if you compare the Indian fast bowlers, for example, Bumrah, he's one of the best bowlers in the world, but he's coming after a long period of, I would say, gap for the Indian team. He has performed well in the Irish conditions, but that was different conditions over there. But one thing what I've seen about Bumrah is that if he starts to leak runs, I mean, to be back in the game is literally tough for Bumrah. But he hasn't done that before, because he's one of the best bowlers. But if he starts leaking runs, I mean, the Pakistani will have to be very clever. I'll quote an example. If you remember the Afghanistan series against Pakistan, whether Pakistan won that series, the second match, the Afghanistan batsmen really carefully played Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah. They didn't go for the big shots.
Give him a chance.
They just tried to just get their overs.
True.
The 30 overs of Pakistan literally are dangerous for the other team. Even the commentators have been speaking on. Same thing I would go for the Indian team. The Indian team, 10 overs of Bumrah and the spinners later on, 20 overs of them. The 30 overs literally will be tough for Pakistan, how they grant themselves.
Winning the toss, should Pakistan first ball or bat, given the fact that it's going to be wet conditions later on?
See, I mean, Pakistan, if you just go by the history of Pakistan, I mean, chasing side has never been good for Pakistan. I know Babar Azam, as a captain, he has led the team well, but whenever you want the Pakistan team to actually go through a pressure situation, the best thing is that win a toss and get the Pakistan team to bat on in the second position.
Right.
But the thing is that if, for me, I would say if Pakistan, like I told you about the Palakkale wicket, because it's a wicket where batting gets easy as the time passes on, but bowlers really need to be do the job over here. They need to go for the slower ones. Like you can see, Bangladesh is struggling right now. But for me, because if you compare the Pakistan versus India side, Pakistan has an edge over here because most of the players played Lankan Premier League, so they know how this wicket reacts on. That's a plus point over here.
And what's your prediction for the match? Pakistan versus India. Who wins?
See, obviously it's going to be Pakistan, but for me, again, I will tell you on a lighter note or something else. But on a serious note, I'll tell you, your batsmen really need to work hard to get Pakistan to a winning note.
Pakistani batsmen really need to work hard. Not so much work hard, hard work for the bowlers of Pakistan. They've proven themselves. K. Asif, what do you think?
Well, I see that I strongly agree with Awais what he said concerning that the Palakkale pitch, it's a very tricky pitch. But the good thing is that the Pakistani players, they were playing Lanka Premier League. They got some, knowledge and awareness of that pitch, that how it is behaving. And now if you can watch that the Bangladeshi players, they're struggling against spinners. Tikshana is a very, very top-notch spinner. But on the other side, if we talk about the 10 overs of Jasprit Bumrah, the players like who are not technically good, they will definitely struggle. I'm not taking any name because and other thing.
And then your prediction about the match.
Yeah, I already said that the Pakistan are favorite.
Right.
60% marks to Pakistan and 40% marks to India.
And what about the rain?
Yeah, 80% rain is getting high marks and 80% rain expected there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough talk about Pakistan and India. It's going to be live on our sister network, PTV Sports. Make sure you tune in on the second. Let's take you to Palakkale right now, where Bangladesh is facing Sri Lanka. Live images shall be coming your way from today's match, where the Bangladeshi side is batting first as they've won the toss. And the Sri Lankans are outdoing themselves in the bowling attack. 157 for 6, 39.3 overs as projected. It's going to be around 199 runs. Mehdi and Shanto on 87 of 118 balls, performing really well for Bangladesh, giving them some stability as the Lankan bowlers have outperformed themselves even in the field, as trouble is there on when you talk about the Bangladeshi side, as this is the home ground for the Lankans.
Nathan, I'll quote you one thing over here, because if you just go by both the teams, both the teams are struggling right now with the fitness issues. Their prime players are not playing this match.
Right.
But if I go by the Sri Lankans, Sri Lanka has one edge, that they're playing in the home conditions, and Sri Lanka is actually coming into the tournament by winning all the straight 5 matches. If you remember the qualifying round, Sri Lanka have been superb in the Zimbabwe.
Yeah, given the fact that they had to go through the qualifying round in order to qualify for the Asia Cup.
But if you just go through the Bangladesh team actually has struggled against Afghanistan. Afghanistan literally beat them badly. It was a T20 match.
Yeah.
Secondly, the biggest problem what I see in the Bangladesh team, it's the winning combination, because many things have been going on in the Bangladesh team. Remember, Tamim Iqbal suddenly retired, then he came back, he was selected as the captain, then he got the injury, then he was out of the Asia Cup. Saqib Al Hasan comes over here. I remember Linton Das, he's one of the best players of Bangladesh has produced as an opening department batsman, but he's again out of the team because of the injury prone. So the opening had the disturbance over there. So there's problems going on in the Bangladesh team, which really need to. Shantu has been a superb candidate in the middle order. I was actually shocked. Even I would ask Asif too. Asif, like Mahmoodullah, the guy who has been consistently performing then for every tournament, every league he plays around, he performs. He's the guy who has been sitting outside. Coaches were changed on for the Bangladesh team. So many things have been going on. They literally need to resolve that things.
Yeah.
Asif.
Yeah, well, see, if you talk about the Najmul Hasan Shantu, today's innings, very, very composed. And this is how call that the player is taking responsibility, that your team is in trouble. And rest of the big players like Shakib Al Hasan, he got out early. That was a brilliant catch taken by the wicketkeeper. And then their previous captain, the Mushfiqur Rahim. When you see that your team is not performing well, and being a junior player, if you're taking the responsibility and then you're showing that you are just there for your team, it means that you're getting matured day by day and you are performing for your team. So it's a very good thing. The question asked by Awais, that what's going on with their team management. Yes, Mohammedul is a very, very good campaigner. If you see his batting stats, if you see his technically he's so strong, mentally he's so good, and so many times he has performed so well for Bangladesh. And Azib, you know that I do not compare the franchise cricket with the international cricket because there's a huge difference. But even then, the Mohammedul is a very, very good player. And it was shocking news for us that he's sitting on the bench and that the rest of the junior players, they are getting chance. So might be their their think tank is thinking that if we're giving chances to the players who are performing in the last couple of months, and this is a good time to just give them chances and get them prepared for the World
Don't you
Cup.
think giving them chances in the Asia Cup is a too big a task for them? I mean it's not just a random tournament, it's the Asia Cup.
Well, this is what I'm saying, that why maybe they're planning for the World Cup. They do know that what kind of abilities and qualities Mohammedullah got. Now let's try some other players. You know that we have some good players like Saud Shakil sitting on the bench, Abdullah Shafiq sitting on the bench. We're not giving opportunities and we're not trying them.
All right, so the
let's say.
Bengali side should also focus on which player to pick for the World Cup. That's where you are.
No,
let's talk about
might be their think tank just giving chances to the new players to make them prepare for the upcoming World Cup.
But as you can see right now, that's not really working for them. These are live images coming your way, ladies and gentlemen, from Palakkale, where 169 is on the board for Bangladesh. 6 wickets down. Terrible conditions, I'd say, for the Bengali team.
But for me, the biggest thing, Asif, it's that, see, if you just watch out Bangladesh, 39 balls, 60 balls, just 39 or 32 runs, they have scored. The biggest problem for me in the Bangladesh squad is your middle order, Saqib Al Hasan. Because Saqib has been one of the best all-rounders in the world.
There you go, another wicket, ladies and gentlemen, as we were speaking.
That's Mehdi gone here. So Shantu is the one who's standing up over here. But I personally feel so that the overs left behind, Shantu really needs to go with a firepower, what he can do, because he's a settled batsman. I think so. After scoring a century, he might. But the thing is that, Asif bhai, your middle order, your senior campaigner, Saqib Al Hasan needs to be back in the form. That's the biggest point where they're actually struggling. What I personally felt was that might Saqib come down the order, let Mushfiqur Rahim bat up the order, because Mushfiqur Rahim, I will tell you, he's one of the batsmen. I call him a silent hero. He performs consistently well for Bangladesh, but never makes a big name what Saqib Al Hasan or Tamim Iqbal have done for Bangladesh. But the thing is that Saqib Al Hasan is the weak link, what Bangladesh really needs to think about.
Saqib Al Hasan is the weak link. We've been talking a lot about Bangladesh and Bengali team over here. Plenty of criticism from both of the analysts. If they don't really perform well in this specific game and somehow Sri Lankan batsmen don't really perform, Bangladesh wins this match, what would your take be then?
First of all, let me talk about the Tamim Iqbal and then Saqib Al Hasan. These two characters were really, really strong character for the Bangladesh side. And earlier on, they got a very good all-rounder, Mushrafi Murtaza. He was very good with the ball, with the bat. And he also performed on a crucial times for the Bangladesh. The Bangladesh are facing same problems like we are facing here in Pakistan Cricket Board. You know that the selectors and then coaches, personal liking, disliking. I'm not talking about specifically about the Bangladesh, but everywhere. If you talk about the cricket, we have heard these news in India as well, that the BCCI once again they had problem with Virat Kohli. Now they brought Rohit Sharma. Even some of the players, they're not happy with Rohit Sharma. Something is going fishy.
It's always going fishy when it's all about cricket. Politics aside, but then again, sportsman's spirit should be there. I agree with you, Asif, on that. Now we'll be talking about another match series that's going to be going on in Karachi, ladies and gentlemen. The South African women's team is touring Pakistan and they'll be playing a 3 T20 series where it's going to be commencing on the 1st of September. We'll start off with Avas. Avas, your take on this and how Pakistani women shall perform against the very experienced South African team.
See, one thing is good that the Pakistan women wing especially, they're trying their level best to get new things for the Pakistani women cricketers. The biggest problem what we have for the women cricketers is that we don't have the backup players because you don't get much series for them. Now it was a good sign that your domestic contracts have been announced. I know it's not a big amount, but still, at least something has happened for the women cricketers. This series is very important for Pakistan because if I compare County and for South Africa,
clearly a stronger team, the South African team, but does Pakistan stand a chance in this series, the home series against the South African team, K. Asif?
Well, I think that now we have a new captain, Nida Dar, and boom Nida Dar. She is performing so well with the bat, with the ball, and she had played crucial innings for Pakistan, and she's a very good hitter as well. Now this is the first time that she will be, playing as skipper. So I think that lots of responsibility once again on her shoulder. But as Awais was saying, that Pakistan Cricket Board have announced some central contracts. It's a very good thing, appreciable. And these young girls, they are getting somehow, that help from the Pakistan Cricket Board in terms of financial resources.
That's very necessary for the motivation. If you want to motivate the young women of Pakistan, making sure that they go and represent Pakistan on the international level, there has to be a motivation, and monetary motivation is always good.
Yes, that's really, really good, and we appreciate Pakistan Cricket Board if they're taking this kind of initiatives. I think this series is really, really important for Pakistan, because you know that after that we have watched in last couple of years, Pakistan women team, they fought well, but they were not converting their defeats into the victories. Now this is the time to get some victories, as 3 ODIs, 3 T20s. So I think that South Africa is a very, very strong side. But Pakistan got some young talent like Fatma Sana and other players. So if they will be playing good for Pakistan, I think that they could do something special.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about all the three things now. The match is going on in Palakkale right now, where Bangladesh is simply being thrashed by the Sri Lankan side. Another wicket down. These are the live images coming your way as the game is going on, where it was a beautiful spin and another wicket down for Bangladesh. Let's hope and see what happens in this game. We'd be keeping a close eye on that, and we'd be keeping a close eye on the match that's going to happen for Pakistan in the Palakkale Stadium, where Pakistan will meet the arch rivals India on the 2nd of September. I'd like to thank Mohammad Awais for joining us today. Thank you, Awais.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kundumal Asif, for always being there with us.
Thank you very much, taking my full name, dear.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for the show. We'll be joining you soon again in the Asia Cup transmission over here in Sports Extra. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.